good, and yet that has consequences, and that can come back. And welcome to YourTown television program. I'm your host, Paula Joy MacNab. And as always, I have an amazing, amazing guest for this segment. I'm so delighted to have the time to interview this extraordinary young man. And I'm going to talk a little bit about him right here in front of him, just to really embarrass him. JT Byrne is an outstanding athlete and scholar at Carmel High School, my alma mater, just to throw that in. Not that anybody cares, but someone asked me, why are you interviewing this kid? And I said, that's a really good question. And I got such clarity about exactly why I'm talking to this extraordinary young man, is that he's our future. And what a bright future it is. Welcome to the program, JT.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm delighted, and I'm very sincere in saying that, because I spent a lot of time looking at your background and your story and who you are. And, you know, why are we talking? Why does this matter to our viewing audience? Why does it matter to me? And you are our future. And as I say, you know, what a brilliant future ahead, and it just brings joy to my heart to have to have you in the world.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's share a little bit about who you are with our viewing audience.
Sure.
Tell me about yourself.
I was born in Baltimore, Maryland. So I always love to say that I was a Baltimore native, even though I lived there for 2 years. But I don't have any memories, but my parents said it was great. It was a great place to be, and then we moved to California when I was 2, and we've lived all over Carmel a little bit. And I went to All Saints Day School for 8 years, so K through 8, and then just started my freshman year at Carmel High, and I've loved every second of living in California and just being here with my family. It's been great.
Yeah. So what are you interested in?
I've always been a sports buff. I've loved watching sports, playing sports. I've just loved to surround myself in that kind of just that area. And then I love being at school with my friends and with my family, and I love just being around people all the time that are really kind, and it's a great community to be there, you know. It's so nice.
Yeah, it definitely is. So anybody else in your family athletic? And you got some height there from somewhere, JT. He towers above me, I'll tell you.
My dad, he played football for Notre Dame.
Oh,
so
okay.
he had that football path, but he was a 3-sport athlete. My mom played Division I volleyball too.
So, oh my goodness!
Yeah,
you come by it honestly.
And they're both really tall too, so that helps.
I noticed that.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
And then my little sister's quite the athlete as well. She's only in 6th grade, so
really?
I don't know how much she knows yet, but she's got a future.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's exciting. Yeah. So I know it's got to be hard to choose which of your sports, and I'm just going to ask you right off, because I'm sure everyone's wondering, where is he going to go? What do you think?
Wow. I told you this before. I always get asked this question.
Yeah.
But I think I've always played baseball. That's always been my love. Just watching it, playing it, thinking about it all the time. But basketball is just because of my height. It's helped out a little bit too. It's been a lot more fun lately, and just it's been kind of sharing that passion with baseball.
Right.
And then I'm new to football, so I'm not really sure how that goes yet. But I think right now it'd be basketball or baseball. Just whatever takes me the farthest.
Sure.
That's kind of the goal. So.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about your family life in terms of, I know your mom's a cancer survivor.
Yes.
How has that affected you, JT?
Well, she was diagnosed when I was in 2nd grade. And I knew I remember kind of at that age, I had an idea of what cancer was, but I didn't really know how severe it could have been. And so I think what was great. I was actually having this conversation with my parents the other night, and I was talking to my dad, and I was thanking him. And I said, thank you for keeping my life as normal as possible during that time. That was so crazy. I was too young to really understand it. And I really appreciate my parents for keeping that normal. And my mom's still trying to be as much of a mom as she can while she's going through treatment. And I think it really taught me, like, during that time, it was mental toughness and just to stay strong and to keep persevering, because I got to see my mom do that for a couple years of her life, and she still does. We all do that every day, but I think that's really taught me, that's a huge thing in my life, just stay present, be in the moment, and just surround yourself with good people, because that's what our family had to do during that hard time.
Right, and those are choices. Those are choices, and not everyone has that awareness and that presence of mind, and that's a real gift that you are sharing with people now, and in just the way you live your life. So how do you balance you're an outstanding scholar. You have an amazing grade point average. Can I share that?
Yes, it's
4.4. Pretty impressive.
Thank you.
And so how do you balance that with all the things that you're doing? That's powerful.
I think it's definitely, there's always talk about finding the right balance in everything you do. And that just keeps you mentally stable and just it keeps you happy. And I think there's definitely, if you have to just kind of realize what you really want to do for your future and what kind of you're passionate about. And I think for me, it's always been, I'm so passionate about sports, I can never give that up. And then our motto at home and with my parents is school always comes first. And for what you do in school, then you can do your athletics, And since I love athletics so much, it makes me want to do so well in school.
That puts that bar pretty high, doesn't it? I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So and then school, I love school too, so it's also a real passion for me. And then I think also with that social aspect with your friends, and I think it's you obviously don't get to see your friends as much as you want to, but you always have to think to yourself, there's always going to be time to see my friends,
Well, and I would think that you probably have quality time with your friends when you have it, because you value it.
Yes.
It's kind of like the way I eat ice cream, because I don't give myself that ice cream all the time, because I love it. But boy, when I taste it, I am just enjoying every bit of it.
I think
so. It's quality.
That's so true. I think, especially when there's like a weekend day, or there's one day that I can spend time with my friends, and I have to divide that up with also being with my family, because that's really important to me too. But I think those times I just have to cherish it and just enjoy, because you're only a high schooler once, you're only a middle schooler once.
That's true.
Just you gotta enjoy that time with your friends, and I'm lucky enough to have some really good friends in my life too.
I'm sure you do. You attract them. How do you deal with the pressure? And I think a lot of teens and young people deal with social media pressure. And very candidly, the things that get put out on the internet, they can come back and get you. They can, Facebook is, everybody knows that what goes up on Facebook, colleges and universities look at that. And how do you see your friends reacting in that world, and what kind of pressures are on you and your friends around that?
I think, first of all, I have to credit my parents for kind of teaching me that early. They were always like, whatever you send out, you can't take back.
Once you've said it, you cannot unsay it.
Yes, exactly. So I think I value that a lot because of my parents. And I know there's always peer pressure to get something or to send something, but I think you just need to...
So what does that peer pressure look like, JT? And I'm being very sincere in this, because we're at different ages of our life, we're motivated by different things. And at in the teen years and young years, we're motivated by our peers. We are our parents. You're the exception, but in many cases, our parents know nothing at that age. Where it's all about our peers. So what does that look like to have a peer pressure you, or you may see a peer pressuring another friend of yours? How do you navigate that?
I think it's interesting, because when peer pressure usually happens, I think, at school, it's more of like one person starts saying it, and then a ton of people kind of gang up on the situation. And I think there's always a short and sweet answer for saying, like, not really into that, or just say, like, it's like a no thank you, you know?
Wow, that's simple.
Yeah,
that powerful. Huh?
Yeah, and I feel like they'll keep asking you if you get into detail. Like, I can't do this because of this, or so I think if you just keep it short and sweet and just be honest. Like, I just don't feel like doing this right now.
Yeah,
not
into that.
Yeah, I'm not into that. So, and I think if you say it like that, hopefully people will respect you for that. And,
wow. Great advice.
Yeah,
That's very powerful advice.
Thank you.
It really does help people. Give them a tool of how to handle that, because I think often we don't have the tools to know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting this pressure, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And you just gave a great answer.
Oh, thank you
for that.
Thank you.
So you also have a background as a filmmaker.
Oh.
A couple of years ago, you made a film that won an award. Talk to us about that.
So in 7th grade at All Saints, it's such a great community with great teachers. They do this program. It's called National History Day, and I know a few other schools participated. I'm not sure which ones, but it's all over the country that they participate in.
Right.
And you're given a main topic for the year.
Right.
So ours was exploration, encounter, and exchange.
Wow,
and
exploration, encounter, and exchange.
Yeah.
Wow, that's rich.
Yeah.
Woo.
It was hard to think of like topics at first because it's broad, but at the same time you have to find a really specific topic.
Sure.
So after a little bit of thinking, I really wanted to do something that shared my passion of baseball with something that needs to be told in the world, so history doesn't repeat itself.
Ah.
And so I chose during World War II, when the Japanese were interned, they played baseball in the internment camps, and it saved a lot of their lives because it normalized that experience for them. And it was awesome. I got to interview some great people, and that could reflect on their stories and then on their father's stories. And so it was a really cool experience for me. And it taught me a lot about history, and it taught me a lot about the game of baseball and how that love can keep you going in such a hard time.
Well, that's really true, and what a powerful subject to really take and explore something. I mean, you probably didn't even know what internment meant back then, did you?
I had no clue. Yeah.
But to open that up and you know, take that apart and say, wow, how something can, you know, whether it's music, in your case it's sport, you know, it's baseball, and how that can really change lives in such a powerful and positive way. You know, that's an amazing. How can people see that film, JT?
I have a version posted on YouTube.
Okay, so how would they find it?
So if you look up Japanese internment exchanging baseball, my title is Exchanging Baseball Diamonds for Sandlots, and how baseball saved Japanese Americans. You can Google that, and my documentary will be up there. And then I'm posting a later version, like the final version that I made, on YouTube as well. So it'll be under the same title.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Oh, excellent. That's really, that would be worth seeing.
Yes, yeah.
And do you have any thoughts about using the media of video or film in future? Do you see yourself doing anything more with that?
I think I definitely would want to do something in film again. I'm taking this video production course in high school next year, so I'm really excited about that.
Great.
So that's hopefully that'll kind of rekindle everything and just kind of want me to do it again. Because after it was such a long process in the history day, processes, I kind of need to take a break.
Right.
But
filmmaking's a lot of work,
isn't it? It's a lot of work. Yes.
That's where we have respect for all those actors and actresses, and we think, oh, they just make all that money. Well, they work really hard for that money. Yeah. You got a taste of it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And it was a 10-minute taste, but so I can't even imagine.
It's still a lot of work, isn't it?
Yes. But I think I don't know what topic I'd want to talk about maybe in the future, but I think there'll definitely be a time where I want to make another film because I had such a good time doing it the first time.
Well, and it's a powerful voice, and you have a powerful voice, and that's a way to express it and share it. So in your future, what direction do you see yourself going? You know, obviously you've got many talents.
Thank you. I think if athletics is the main goal, but if that doesn't work out, I think I want to do something where I can use, hopefully if I gain some like respect or power in some way, I want to apply that to helping like just make relationships in the world. And I think that's something that I've always kind of thought about and just like imagined, like, why can't these people just get along, or why can't we all get along? I think that's always been kind of like my dream, is just like to help people just get along, because when people get along in the world, it makes it such a better place.
Yeah, that sounds like a documentary film right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, helping people get along. Yeah. Well, and leading by example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely are doing that. I think that your voice for your peers is so empowering to them, and you know, the fact that you are willing to take your time out of your schedule. I know you are rushing off after this interview to do something extremely important, and I appreciate your time on it. If you had, JT, a couple more minutes, I really want to touch on, I think that young people really don't know, again, how to make those choices of, and you mentioned the word mindfulness or present, to stay present.
Yeah.
What could you share with a friend or someone across the world?
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's a student in Europe or China struggling with, just touch on that just before we wrap up.
Yeah, sure.
What are some of the things you dig into for your mental toughness?
Yeah.
You can say it, but what does that mean?
I think, especially when the times are hard, and I've had to experience that a few times just with my mom, and but I think definitely if you're feeling down or if there's something not going right in your life, just kind of go back and take a second and think, like, what's important in your life and what you're passionate about. And for me, that was my family.
Right.
I love my family so much, so I just wanted to surround myself with them all the time. And then it was athletics for me. So that was a nice outlet to have. When times were hard, I could go play baseball or basketball, and it didn't have to be like playing the sport, just like go and shooting baskets. And it's a way to kind of just bring yourself back to where you are and just be in the moment. And I think mindfulness is really key.
So what does mindfulness mean to you?
I think I meditate, which is great. I think being in the now, just saying to yourself, just accepting what's going to come, but don't think about the future. Just be where you are, and say, even if it's hard, just you'll get through it. It's going to come to an end. So just accept it, and just keep being in your life.
Yeah.
And
when do you take the time to meditate? What's your meditation practice?
I usually do it right before bed with my mom.
Beautiful.
And so my mom and I meditate together, and
Beautiful.
then my dad and my sister go to bed pretty early, actually. So but they meditate as well too.
Yeah.
So but my mom and I take pride in meditating.
Yeah. And meditating, for me, just before we wrap up, it's just, as you said, it's so beautiful. It's a time to be present, to be mindful, to reflect on the things you're grateful for in your life.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful time to do that before you slip into that beautiful, hopefully, dream state.
Yes.
Instead of having watched a violent movie.
Yes.
And having it show up in your subconscious. So what a beautiful thing to do.
Thank you.
JT, you are a pleasure. You're a delight. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been great. Wow, what an impressive young man. Keep an eye out for him. Thanks for watching.